very first website I built was within the first hour of my new job in Yuma, Arizona, and the guy, my boss, said, we need a website. So 1 hour into my job, I bought ympo.org, and I still manage it 20 years later. Literally just a week ago, they came back and said they want some changes. It's a little bit of a web design thing. You don't ever want to lose your very first customer. It's kind of bad luck. So still have 20 years later. Just so you know my personality, if you haven't figured out, that's my family. And we did a big trip, and you can see that's my daughter. Yes, she's barefoot, so I got a wicked cool family. And that's my personality there. So you'll notice I do a lot of walking. I'm going to get you guys up and going and talking and thinking about how we can improve your website. 1968 IBM computer, 3 megabytes of RAM. Not a lot going on. And there we are today. And I'm talking about this right now because just so you guys know, it changes so fast. So if you built a website 2 years ago, it's probably already out of date. If you already built it a year ago, probably already out of date. So part of turning a website into a generating machine is keeping up with the technology, keeping up with the skills, keeping up with the changes, all of that. So we just have to kind of keep up. And I guarantee you, if it's not necessarily an e-commerce, right? A lot of folks think, well, my website doesn't really, people don't put their credit card in, so how can it be generating for me, any money for me? I guarantee you, in the B2B world, which most of my customers are B2B, they tell me, well, it's all about, I'm up there and I have a meeting and we talk and it's cold calling, it's networking, it's all those things. They don't, they go to my website just kind of make sure I exist, but that's about it. But I can guarantee you, after the website, they went home and they looked you up and they're going to make another decision. You may have gone well. The meeting went excellent. Y'all got along, y'all figured out it was great, but if they went back to your website and it looked like that, you may not have won a new client, but I guarantee you lost a client. This is one of my clients, Sierra Chemical. They had been in business for almost 50 years, and they had many opportunities. They were doing really, really well. I mean, they got millions of dollars. Smart people. They do industrial size cleaning. So, your construction truck, that level cleaning. They don't come into your home janitorial cleaning. They're pipeline cleaning. They're vats, right? They create their own blend. They had a huge opportunity. Huge, millions of dollars in sales. Everything was going well, and they landed on that. So you may not have gained a customer, you sure as heck lost one. And this is what it looks like now. We had 2% increase in our traffic over 6 months. 20%, oh, you can't read that. 12% increase in orders by phone. So we went from plain Jane website to something that actually started generating phone calls, because they started showing up in the search engines. I didn't do any SEO for them, search engine optimization. I didn't do any of that. It was just by the nature that we were very clear with what they did, who they helped, why they did what they did, and that's how we come up with a new website that actually is now generating traffic. So you can go through security, safety, all their services, the industries they support, and you see those numbers at the top. Those really anticipate, and this is what the company was looking for. When they went to their website, they wanted to see, can you handle our business? We're going to give you millions and millions of dollars, and I go to your website, and you look like you're a mom and pop shop. This says we can do it. We've got the employees, the staff, the infrastructure. We've been doing this for a long time. So on the very home page, it was to drive that, this is what we do and what we do, and now we've gotten phone calls. Now we're at a point where they're actually putting an order form on here. So we're going to that next level of actually creating some traffic. What is a conversion? Website conversion is the method of getting your visitors to do exactly what you want them to do. That's all. Just whatever you want them to do on that page, on your website, the page, your landing page, whatever you want. It could be a contact, an estimate request, a caller, subscriber, they've registered, they purchased, they download. Those are all conversions. Your website should be doing one of those things all the time. And not just saying we exist, it should be generating some of this traffic. So on the left, it's kind of hard to see, but that is the lowest end of a conversion. You've got your list of parties and services, and on the right is the contact. That's what I mostly see when I'm going under B2B websites. Well, they have a contact form. And that's like low-end conversion control there. And in this case, we've got one that says, we've got a humans here, and now it says, book your next ice cream event. That's next level. We're actually getting them to do something. We're saying, do this thing right now. And when you land on that, it's actually purchasing, or a landing page to purchase. Now, we did a website for the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce, and we didn't know what the website was doing. We couldn't tell. Were they doing good? Were they not doing good? We don't know. So what we did is when we redesigned the site, we added free Fort Bend business directory. So now we've got one level of conversions that we can track how well the website's doing. So when you go to a chamber website, mostly they want you to join, but not everybody joins right off the bat. So one thing that we can do is figure out a way to download this list and they can get their email. That's a conversion. The one on the left is if you're a free catering quote. That's the next level, right? It's not just contact, but I'm actually getting you to talk to me about a quote. Before you go down this path, though, before you think, oh my God, I've got to completely redesign my site, I have all these changes I'm going to have to do, what's next, oh my God. Before you go down that path, the number one thing I need you to do to make sure your website converts is look at your user behavior. How many of you guys have analytics? Or some kind of analytics? Oh, good. All right, half of you guys. The other half, when you're done, I want you to tell your developer to install Google Analytics. It's free. It's not hard to do. So before you go down the path of starting to make some changes to your site, I need you to look about what's working and what's not working. This is one thing to look at, is how many people are bouncing off the site. It's called the bounce rate. So when I land on a page, how often do people actually show up and then bounce right on out again? Have you guys ever checked any of this stuff, those of you who've had analytics? Good. Bounce rate, how often do they stay on the site? What pages are the most popular pages? All of that stuff is really great to know before you go down the path of making a bunch of changes. Here's one, you can actually put conversion stats and track that. So you can see how many phone calls you made, how many times people filled that out, how many times made a purchase, how many times they downloaded. All those things are tracked and compared with all the other pages. One is page performance with e-commerce. So we went up almost 900% e-commerce rate. A bounce rate went down a little bit, but we've seen serious traffic. And so those are just things that you need to kind of track and see what's working, what's not working. And this is over a 1-year period. I'm not going to say who, but email performance, you can look at this too. So you can see how we've got subscribers, how many people subscribe, how many of you all do email marketing? Yeah, y'all don't do a lot of email marketing, do you guys? Yeah, just a few. If you haven't, consider it. I know people are a little down on the whole email, but it is proven that it does actually make some strides in your sales. The one thing too is you can see what topics people want to see. So you can see open rates, and then when you go into the detail, I can now see exactly what pages they landed on. So what was interested of them. So when I start designing a site and I start looking at what kind of things I can do, one of those is requests for quotes. So if I change my website, I don't want to change that page too much because that's what people are interested in. Here's another one. It's called Hotjar. Hotjar, anybody? Hotjar is a free tool. You can put 3 web pages on there. So absolutely free. You put 3 web pages, and it'll track how often people are scrolling on that page. It's kind of cool. So at the very top is the red hot. Everybody obviously sees that. As you go down, it gets cooler and cooler, so it gets blue, and nobody sees that. This is the same web page, just oriented a little differently. So now I see on the left, people didn't really go, they actually kind of came down a little further than they did on the right. So what was the content on the left that made people want to scroll down? In this case, it was imagery. And then this other one, we've got actually clicks. So when when you randomly click on things, I can see that's what I can see as they move down. The one on the right, nobody did anything with that form. The one on the left, lots of clicks. The interest and the eye level went down, and they filled out the form. So when you're trying to make a website that's actually going to convert, this is really important stuff. Where do I put the stuff? How do I lay out the website so I get the eyeballs and get them to do something? In this case, again, it was the imagery. The imagery drives people down. And there's all so many stats. I spent a week at a digital marketing conference just on this stuff. A full day talking about analytics on a website. And the typical is everyone says put the form at the top. Right? On average, everybody puts the form at the very top because we want you to fill out the form as soon as you can. But when I do my own studies, that's not always the case. People actually do scroll down to the bottom of the page and fill out the form. You might be different. I don't know. I won't know until I actually look at your stats to decide what needs to be done. Other places, surveys, chats, chatbots. Anybody have a chatbot on their website? No. Salesperson, competitors. Chatbots are kind of coming up right now, so if you're thinking about it, if people have a tech support issue, not tech support, but some kind of support, a chat sometimes is a little helpful. So what is a landing page? The second option here. Looks like my titles are getting cut off, but what is a landing page? A landing page, so most people, a landing page, they think of a landing page as like when you hit a pay-per-click ad and you land on that page. In my opinion, a landing page is pretty much every page on your website. Because every page on your website, you have to keep a promise. And what I mean by keeping a promise is if I click on a link, or I click from an email, or I click from social media, and I land on that page, it better as heck be about that topic that you promised to me. So if you're doing pay-per-click advertising, and you have a topic, when I click on that, it better be about that topic and not your homepage. How many of y'all are doing pay-per-click? A couple people doing pay-per-click. Okay, I was really hoping to see more of that, but no. The other thing is make a decision. When I land on that page, you have to fulfill the promise, and you have to make sure there is a decision for me to be made. So every single page of your site, outside of terms and conditions and return policy and all that stuff, every page should be a landing page. So if you're doing ice cream distribution, the entire page should be about ice cream distribution. If you're doing ice cream catering, the whole page, ice cream catering. Don't try to have a page called services and then just list every single service you do on there. Because if I clicked over and you got maybe on a social media and you want to tout the new catering service, the new employee, the new truck, and I land on your home page or your services page, you've lost me, I'm gone. I wanted to read more about your new truck. I can't find it now, I'm gone. So keep the promise and make a decision. Here's an example. So keep a promise. I Googled catering, and I landed on a catering page on Panera Bread. So they kept the promise. Even the title says catering. I have to make a decision, so I have to order something from them. That was the decision to be made. The whole page is about catering, the entire page. You scroll down, there's a video, there's other things that I could be doing, but the main decision that I have to do is order. This was catering. When I landed on catering, Mexican catering. I Googled Mexican catering. I landed on an Asian catering. Didn't quite live up to the promise. So I'm probably going to back out because it's not what I was looking for. The promise wasn't kept, and it was actually a pay-per-click ad. So whoever set that up lost some money because I wasn't looking for Asian catering. I was looking for Mexican catering. But at least there's a button that says order now. You barely see it, which is a whole other topic, but at least there was a decision. Here's where we got all of them wrong. I landed on the page, I was looking for wedding catering. I landed on this. Is there anywhere on there that says a wedding? Not a single thing that says a wedding catering. There's one image on here that looks like there's like place settings, right? If I'm a bride, I'm looking for bridal catering or a special party for my bridal event, and let's just say it's an ice cream party and I want to treat my guests, I better as heck land on the bridal page that talks about how you're going to help me as a bride cater my wedding. And show me photos of things that you've done in the past. So keep the promise that you've given, then make a decision. There's literally nowhere for me to do after this. I'm expected to watch a slideshow. How many of you guys actually sit and watch a slideshow? Yeah, one. Oh, good for you. The one person watches the slideshow. But, and sometimes, it's okay. It's just, at this point, what do you want me to do? I'm not sure what you want me to do. So I can only do this so long. So you'll probably have lost a customer at this point. And again, this is a pay-per-click ad. And then on the very top, it says wedding catering. But I landed on the page. It's not what they talked about. Next, prioritize your website actions. don't confuse me too much. So I know when I go to a store and I look at all the olive oils, right? And I'm standing there looking at olive oils, I have no idea what one's next to the olive oil. I just look at the Bertolli olive oil and I walk away. Way too many decision making for me. I'm leaving. Now, unless you're an olive oil connoisseur and a special chef, you would probably spend some time. But the average customer goes to the one thing that they ain't familiar with and they go check out. Same thing with your website. So one thing to think about too is familiar. So when you're looking about the layout and keeping things, distractions to a minimum, we have a familiar layout, we have color, and we have white space. Those are those ideas when you land on a page. Those are the things you need to see on your website. Very clear, it's a familiar layout. What I was talking about with the olive oils, everything's all laid, but usually my all is usually right in front. Same thing with the website, a familiar layout. You've got logo on the left, phone number on the right, a navigation, hero image, and some services. That's trying to change that a little bit, because right now this is starting to get a little like white noise. We're all seeing the same thing over and over and over again. So we're trying to change this up, but it's a familiar layout. The reason why you see a lot of this is that we're all used to seeing it and we know what to do when we arrive on it. Color is also important. So if you have a brand, keep the brand consistent. Don't throw 20 other colors on there unless you have a special color that kind of highlights it. We'll talk about that. White space is important. So give my eye a bit of a rest. So when I was talking about distractions, if I've got too many things going on, it's like, caveman days where I can't make a decision, I'm going to run because I got the lions over here and I'm like, yikes, let's get away, right? If we see way too much things going on, we confuse us. White space helps us break that out a little bit and make another decision. Break it out, make a decision. Do I want to continue on? What's the most important thing you need me to do? This was another one. This was color. So his branding was a light blue and a green. But the photos that he sent me were a red truck and red t-shirts. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? So we're not even near his brand colors. But it worked out really, really well. Because from the eye level, your eye draws down to the truck, right? And now you read, and then you draw down to the people, and then you draw to the right. So actually, I'm moving your eyeball without you knowing it down over to the final decision to learn more, or make a call, or whatever that I'm wanting you to do. That's a landing page. Trying to guide me to make a decision. Just too many distractions, and I'm confused, and I'm going to back out. Here's an example. This is the Fort Bend Chamber. This was the site before. Lots of decisions to be made, lots of colors. I'm really not sure what's the most important thing on this page. The biggest problem we had with the website was it wasn't converting. It wasn't getting people where they wanted to do. Part of it is the biggest thing they want people to do is go to the events page and register for an event. That's their number one. You don't even know where to do that. We get phone calls and emails. I heard you had an event. How do I get to it? How do I register? Huge problem. Well, because the homepage wasn't driving them to that function. The redesign does. So one is the become a member. They realize, we don't even have that. This become a member, you click on that, that's a landing page. How to become a member. Everything about becoming a member. Then below that is the different events that they have that you can register for. So you just scroll down what next, and you can register. People were getting lost. And you can see that in the analytics. You can see the high bounce rate. Page on time was high because nobody could find anything. They were spending so much time on the site trying to find it, and they weren't finding it, and they were still calling. So this cleaned everything up. Very easy to read, very specific, and even on the top is another link for events. So as you go into the site, you can still find events. Right? And there's that call to action at the bottom there to register. Don't forget mobile. We're talking about layout. Don't forget your mobile. So if you don't have a mobile website, that's one thing you're going to have to think about. How do I convert my site so that it's mobile friendly? We're about half now. About 50% everybody's going to a mobile, using mobile only. So you might be at your desk looking at your website thinking, oh, it looks all right. You look at it on the phone, and if it's scrunched and it doesn't adjust, that's not mobile friendly. It's not going to look good. And people will lose interest and leave, and you'll have lost a customer. I can even say, you can see on the mobile one, you can see the top of his head when I saw that. So I'm probably going to go back and change it so that there's no photo on that mobile thing. Because it's not necessary. It's actually a distraction. It's like, what is this guy doing on there here? So I'm actually going to remove the image on a mobile device because I only want you to register for an event or learn more about joining the chamber. Yeah. This is Yale University. This is their website. That's what they consider art, I guess? I don't know. That is the epitome of distraction. How fast would you back out of that? It even hurts, I know. And this is the Yale University, so even, these guys get it wrong. Now, I'm not sure, I'd love to call them up going, what's the point? I'm not sure why, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I would love to find out why they designed it that way, but it hurts the senses. Here's another example of keeping everything clean and removing the distractions, but almost to the point where I'm not sure where to click first. I know the goal of the site, what you want me to do is probably look for a restaurant, depending on who I am. If I'm a repeat user, I kind of already used to it, and I may want to get a $50 gift. But if I'm a brand new user, I'm assuming you want me to start, but why that's at the very bottom, I'm not sure. So the other thing is that the $50 gift card, I don't know what you want me to do. I think we're used to it now. We probably would click on it, assuming it's a button. But always give me a direction. Tell me, order your $50 gift card now. So you have to give somebody, we're too quick. There's just too many things going on. It's so easy for me to back out. So give me the direction, do this now. I'm not even gonna do that one. For the fourth one, and this is what a lot of people get wrong too, is how are you going to be unique? You're all in the ice cream industry. You will sell ice cream at some level to distributors and restaurants and all that. How is it that you're unique in your field? Yes, you sell ice cream. I get this a lot. Well, we sell ice cream. Yeah, so does so-and-so, so does so-and-so. What makes you different? Anybody know what a UVP is? Unique value proposition. It's the one thing that makes you unique from your competitors. Here's Chapman's, and I made sure they're not in the association. This is Chapman's up in Canada. They call themselves Canada's #1 frozen yogurt. I don't know who says they're #1. I don't know if they claim themselves that they're #1. So if you're going to claim #1, you better back it up, because we're all pretty smart now. We'll look at that and like, yeah, right, who called you #1? Do you have awards? Car dealerships, right? How many times have you had on the commercials on car dealerships, like, we're award-winning, and they have 20 different awards. Every car dealership is award-winning somehow. Every car has an award. It's not that special anymore. So how are you going to make it so that you're special? What's going to make you different? IT community is famous for this. When we build websites for any IT company, what do you do that's different? They can't tell me what's different. We install cable and we fix computers, and it's the same thing. Now this is an old site, so at least when I land on it, I know what they do. But there's really nothing special about them. So if I back out and I find somebody else, it probably looks fairly similar to this. So I'm trying to make a decision here. Who do I call? How are you going to convert me into a customer? This is an example of what not to do. Give me something unique. The problem is that they went backwards. It made it even worse. This is the redesign. I mean, if you're going to convince me to hire you as an IT company, is it the smartest thing in the very top little left there to have some dude with his feet on the I'm not sure. To me, that says that's actually the IT company. That's the guy in the back, and he's just relaxing. Like, I'm not sure that's who I would want to hire as an IT company. And then it says, your company looks to you for answers. Who do you look to? Well, if you're going to have a rhetorical question, you better sure be able to answer the question yourself. You would call us. And here's why. Here's why you would call us. We understand your problems. Here's your problem. We are the solution, and here's why. That is a unique value proposition. When you can explain to the customer that you are the solution to the problem that they're having. You're a bride, you want catering. You're a restaurant, I need a really good ice cream to serve to my customers. Why do I hire you as somebody else? 24 tech support? Is it fresh? Are you gonna give me different ice creams every month? What is it that's unique about what you do as compared to the competitor? These guys got it wrong. The fifth is watch your image selection. And you laugh. Yes, I have had a photo sent to me to put on their website of a porta potty. It was a spa. They had just built their site, and they were so excited that the owners put themselves in front of the construction site of the spa, and right behind them was a porta potty. They were very proud of the construction of their site. When you think about that, is that something that your customers would want? I mean, is that something that's not as appeal to your customers? So when you put an image on your site, think about what your customers are doing. This just looks like a person that's in a hammock. Now, if I'm selling hammocks, where would I put a button? Most people want to put it at the top, because that's, I don't want to cover the hammock. That's the product. I want to put it at the top. Actually, put it at the bottom. Because why? That V is a natural eye level. It draws my eye down, and I see that first. I see the hammock first, and then I see the call to action. When it's on top, I'll miss it, because my eye instantly goes to the hammock. It's colorful, and it literally has an arrow in it. Here's another example. When you're choosing imagery, and you're trying to drive somebody to take an action and become a lead and a customer, have them look at the form. Surprisingly, we're animals, and we see, what is she looking at? Oh, she's looking at the form. Now, she's probably looking at an ice cream truck. She just bought some ice cream. But our eye instantly wants to see what she's doing, and it's a form. At the bottom is the Geico ad. Subliminally, you don't know this, but his eye is pointing you, and he's literally telling you, fill this out. So when using imagery, try and use the image as a way of, here's what I want you to do, and now do it. Here's an example of a guy in the very top. This is the same guy, and he did a test on looking serious, and one that's genial and happy. He got way more. He got 1.3 increase in signups and 9.9% boost in his sales. So I know everybody, it's a serious business, ice cream, I think. Selling ice cream, and you have a serious business and you have serious customers, but try and smile or have happy people in your photos. If you have employees, they should be looking at the camera with their branded shirts on, happy. If you have parties, if you are catering and you're out there with you should have happy people, you'll see more sales. Rather than if you just have a single image of an ice cream. Because I'm trying to see myself as your customer. So if it's just ice cream, that's fine. I mean, it's okay. But I would rather see myself as a party goer, if I'm an event planner or in a restaurant, have a photo of the restaurant with ice cream and happy people eating the ice cream in the restaurant. This is another example of the wrong image. Everybody's so happy with their building. I don't know what it is. And I get this all the time. We have to put a picture of our building on the homepage. Why? Is that something your customers really care about? No, they don't care about your building. They care about what they've landed on. You gave them a promise. I want to learn more. The front of your building is not the place to be on the front page. It doesn't even tell me what you do. I didn't even know what City Float Center did until they became an old customer. I had to look it up. But apparently if I Google Float City, they don't show up. But at the same time, it's a water kind of spa. So if you're going to have on the front page and you're a water spa, put the picture of the water spa and people enjoying themselves and relaxing in the water spa. Now, guys, I'm from Texas, and boy, we love our trucks. Love our trucks. How many of you guys have a truck? Yeah. How many of you guys put trucks on the homepage of your website because you're so proud of your truck, right? And I know you guys have distributors and you have trucks. And you might put them on your homepage. Now, if you're trying to sell to food distributors and you're trying to sell your food truck, I get it. But in this case, I have no idea what this guy sells. None whatsoever. He doesn't even say it on his truck. Anybody? He's an AC guy. He repairs and installs AC equipment. No idea. But, he proudly serves. He's 24-hour emergency service, satisfaction guaranteed, blah, blah, blah. So does every other AC company. If you're going to have a truck, use it maybe a little further down so you can, at least from a visual standpoint, that we have employees, like we have staff, we're ready to work with you, that kind of thing, but not the very first thing you want to see. And if you're going to wrap your car, at least wrap your car with exactly what it is that you do. He does have in the upper left, though. But it's really tiny, you have to look for it. So here's another example. I don't know which company this was, but is that enticing? Does that make you want to buy ice cream and hire you for $500 to come cater? This is just, yeah. So this is just an ice cream in the middle of, like, it's floating. It's not the most appetizing thing. I don't know how big it is. So if I've landed on this page, I'm trying to make a decision to hire you or not, a little questionable. Now, I didn't show you the entire site, but this is the very top of it. So you're going to do imagery, have some good imagery on there. Spend a little money on a photographer if you can, and get some photographs. So this is just the homepage of a company up in New York. They're just an ice cream shop, and they've got their staff, and what are they doing? They're smiling at the camera. They've got different images of the types of ice cream that they sell. So from this point, I can tell what it is that they do. I know that they've got different options for me. I have a cone, I have a cup, I have different toppings. In all of about 1 second, you know exactly what it is that they do. And it's enticing, it looks good. The next is clarify your message. Be very specific. Again, it all goes back to what I was saying. When you have that promise, make sure the promise is very clear that you are going to be able to do the thing that you want them to do. Clarify the message. We have delicious ice cream. When it comes to Rocky Road, we're not playing. What if you were clarified it a little bit more of exactly what it is that you do that's unique from everybody? We get the kind of ice cream you dreamed of as a kid. Imagine toasted almonds and rich chocolate and mini marshmallows. When it comes to Rocky Road, we're not playing. Is that more enticing than just delicious? Maybe, maybe not. But that is clarity. That's exactly what you're doing. If you're doing distribution of ice cream, you've got trucks, talk about the trucks themselves, how reliable they are. Your staff is presentable, they're professional, they show up on time, they clean up after themselves. If you're doing events, if you're a restaurant, what is it? Clarify exactly what you're going to do for the restaurant. Because again, when I land on that page, I have a problem. If you're clarity in the message, you'll convert me way easier than if you're just random, oh, we sell ice cream. Well, yeah, I would hope so. Here's one, these guys do really large, those platforms out in the middle of the ocean where they do drilling. These guys transport it. Now, right above this is this gorgeous picture, very, very colorful picture of the ship themselves. But below it, what I wanted to point out is they're very, very clear on what they do. They don't just say we ship big things. We ship semi-submersible marine transportation. We're state-of-the-art fleet. This is on the home page. Very, very clear who they are and what they do. Back to Sierra Chemical. No idea. They lost a few $1 million sale with a huge chemical company because they landed on this because they didn't know what they do. They weren't clear with the message. The next thing is humanize your website. Back to the smiling faces. If you are, how many of you guys actually, I'm sure most everybody here is involved in the community in somehow, and you help and you have scholarships. So if you do those things, try and put that on your website and try and showcase all the work that you do to help your community and the people around you and how you're part of this world of business. So on the left, that's Southern Ice Cream. So they did, this is on their Instagram account. We also have this, actually the same one is on their About Us page. But it helps people understand that it's a family and that they care about the community. It's just that extra level of trust as well. It's the other part of all this. We're trying to get people, we want people to trust us. If you just have an ice cream picture on there, there's not a lot of trust. If you show people, humanize your site, talk about the things that you're doing with your local community. It could be anything, really. This one is Howell Services. They're a plumbing company. They do, every year, they're very, very involved in the fair, the monthly fair, so they give scholarships out. And so we have a whole month-long campaign where they talk about all the great things and how they show up and they sponsor. So humanize it. If you do any media outlets, that's another trusting thing. If you're humanizing it, talk about all the publications you might have been in. If you've been in any commercials, try and embed that. If you do video, that's another humanizing way. I know it feels weird, but if you can do it, try and do a video of the staff. people at work, people serving the ice cream, people showing up at the restaurant. That is a way of humanizing the site rather than just boring, bland pictures. Video gives that sense of people actually work here. Surely, putting in social media and social proof is another way to humanize. Putting the testimonials on your website is really important. If you can get testimonials to your Google account, that's really important. But nearly 63% of consumers indicate they're more likely to purchase from a site if it has a product, ratings, and reviews. So a couple ways to do this. A video, like I said, is the best way. So if you have a restaurant owner who's willing to do this, it's kind of tough, I get it, to have somebody do a video testimonial, convince them, that, you know, see if you can work out a deal with them. Hey, if you do this video, I don't know, give you a percentage off or something, I don't know. But if you can convince your customers to give you video testimony, that's the bar. That's set the bar high. If you can't, at least get some name and a testimonial to add to your website. But do not create a testimonials page for the love of God. Nobody goes to the testimonials page. Sprinkle this throughout the whole website. Put it at the top. Jane Smith loves our ice cream. She loves our workers. We showed up on time at her party. Having testimonials humanizes your website. The 8th thing is watch your novelty effects. And I'm guilty of it. You know, the coolest thing comes out, and damn, I gotta get that in that website. It's the first website I get to rebuild. Like, ooh, I'm gonna put the new thing on there, right? Watch that. And like I said, I'm guilty of it, and so is Zappos. You know slideshows? How many of y'all have a slideshow on your homepage? Yep, a couple people. Slideshows are kind of watch it. Zappos thought it was a good idea a year ago. The problem with it is it's distracting from the main goal of the page. We're losing the promise and we're losing what I want you to do. So they show this, and they click this. There's 3 different images. I'm still not sure what you want me to do. So they took it out completely, and they have a single image with 2 links. So right now the season it's getting to fall, so you show up. It's a woman. She's actually, if you see her eyes are pointing over to the shoes. We've got a couple of links. We don't even do buttons anymore. It's just plain links. I'm getting you to make a decision, but I'm also not distracting you from buying Uggs. Can you see that? Can you see the chocolate? Okay, good. All right, good. It's cool. You see the videos in the background. That's a cool thing. I wouldn't even call it a novelty effect, but it is a kind of thing that we're seeing a lot lately in the past year. If you decide to do something like this, make it very simple. Don't have a lot of things happening. I love this because it's just chocolate drizzling on ice cream. That's all it does. And you know what your eye does? It follows the drizzle to Seattle's ice cream company, and it follows you further down. So it's kind of a cool effect. Again, if you're going to do a novelty effect, if you're going to do something that's kind of cool, ask yourself, is this going to help them make a decision? Is this going to distract them from actually making that phone call? Use a novelty effect. It's fine. Just be careful with how you use it. And I love how this was used. This is an example of all the stuff you can do. Things are popping out. Things shift back and forth. It's distracting sometimes. And to be fair, this is actually a company that does that. So these are all the things you can do. It was just nicely done on one page. But things shift around, animations twirl. If you're going to do anything that's novelty, just ask again, is this going to help my customer make a decision? The 9th thing is, how fast can you go on your website? When a person comes to your site and they're trying to make a decision to call you and become a customer, if it loads really slow, you've lost them. You got 3 seconds. Your website has to load under 3 seconds, not 3.1, not 3.2, 2.9 is best, and lower. If you can get 2 seconds, you're rock star. 1.5 seconds, you're like Superman. So that's our goal, under 3 seconds. And Google wants to see under 3 seconds too. If you have a website that loads over 3 seconds, you're getting penalized for it. And that's on mobile as well. So if you have a mobile device, if you have a mobile website, and you've got a bunch of imagery, and your mobile has to load all that big images that you've loaded on the desktop site, you're getting penalized for it because it's taking too long. So what we do is we remove all that stuff. We remove all the videos, we remove all the big monster images, and we just because from a customer's perspective, it's tough to make a decision on a landing page. If there's a video, that's fine. I'll watch the video. Just don't have the novelty stuff and the big images. It slows your website down. These are 3 places that you can go to check the speed of your site. They're all free. Now, the problem that people have is they look at the grade. So there's an A and a D grade. They all kind of do that. Oh, you got an A. Look you're doing really well. I don't care about the grade. This is actually my site. Whoop. I didn't touch it, I swear. So my site showed up at 3.2 seconds. And I watch this. This is, we have what we call a care plan for all of our customers. So we host, but we also maintain the site. And different on levels, one of the things that we do for you is a performance level. So every month we check and see how well your site is performing. We may not have touched it in a couple weeks, but there might be something in there that changed. A plugin changed, some script got changed, and it's now messing with our speed. I'll get clients that upload 3,000 width pixel website imagery. They're gorgeous, but they're humongous. And we'll go from 2.5% to 2.5 seconds to 5 seconds. So I actually had to go back and figure out why the heck is my site so slow? So I found that there's a couple images, I had to remove those. Now, in the very beginning, we talked about analyzing your site. And before you make a bunch of decisions and do all this stuff with your website, analyze your site. When you're done and you've made this, test it. Don't do what every other website owner does, make a site and then step away from it and never touch it again. Because all of this will change in about six months again. And the other thing I want you guys to know is you don't have to completely start from scratch. Some of this stuff can be done pretty easily on your site. You can be done tomorrow by next week. You can change out a few images, change out some text. Test it, test it, test it though. And that's why I'm telling you at the very beginning, put that Google Analytics on your website. It's free. It is a free tool. It is just like QuickBooks. It's telling you how your money is working. Google Analytics is going to tell you whether or not your website's working for you. So those are the types of things you need to do. If you want your website to be an ROI, give you the return on your investment, you need to test it. When we made that change, did we see more phone calls? When we changed the image, did we get more subscribers? Did we get more event planners? Did we get more, that kind of stuff? Test it. Just like I did with, remember the guy with the smile? He tested it. One other thing too is you might think you have the design, the best thing in the world. Engineers, right? They want you to follow that. Follow me here. So we build websites, and I'm guilty of it. I'll build a site. I think it's perfect. But until I test it, I won't know. The testing will tell me that actually they didn't follow my instructions. They went a whole other path. And I got to figure out what path they took so I can rearrange the site so I can get more people following the directions. Because the people that tried to do that got frustrated and they left the site. I want more people I want them to tell me what's working and what's not working. And anyway, so if you go to this website, links, globalspecs.com/ice cream, that's this presentation. All those links. I've got a worksheet on there if you guys want to take a look at it. I do have an audit at the very end. So if you're interested, you can fill out this. And I personally will audit your site. It is not a bot. I don't put it through some computer-generated bot system. I am looking at your site, and I have about 30 to 40 different pieces on there. You will get a report. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not even going to call you at all. You might get a couple emails from me. That's about it. I don't spam people ever. I do like once an email. I'm the worst person at email marketing. Even though I tell you to do email marketing, I'm the worst at it. But for sure, you'll get a really, really nice report from me. It'll give you great details about what's working and what's not working, as well as recommendations of what you can do. It's me, I'm doing it, it's a nice report, no obligation, it's all free, and I'm not going to call and spam you and all that craziness. So thank you very much, I appreciate it, and cool, have a good time.